I really should clean that to make it only the text. But I've been looking into tools to like extract audio from a clip without the surrounding noise. They're all really bad. At least the ones right now, they're still really bad. I imagine over time, as it trains on that, it might get a lot better, especially specifically that clip where somebody's already done it. But I'm not late, chat. I'm not a fucking wizard. No, I am a wizard, chat. I'm a graybeard. What they call them? I've been programming for almost 10 years now. This is like, well, I've been programming for, unofficially, I've been programming for more than 10 years. So apparently I'm considered old. But I'm like 29. If you're a wizard, why can't you spell? You know what? Some things are beyond my grasp. It's like that thing where it's like, you know the bell curve, right? The bell curve is a real life representation of your mind. So as I get smarter, I get stupider in certain ways. But welcome, chat. Today we're not gonna have the cam on yet because it's gonna crash Kenshi. We're gonna be playing Kenshi later today. We're also gonna be continuing until then later as well. So we're going for a longer day. Name a woman. Just one woman. I still find that video so funny because like she was right there. Like she could have just named herself. You know what I mean? Like that's the funniest part. But it's just the shock of like, okay, I have to name somebody that like isn't me. But it's like she could have just named herself and just got like $100. Name one woman. It's like, I feel bad for her too, because like I would absolutely clam up if like someone ran up to me and said, name a man. I would be like, I don't know. I would freak out too. It's hard in the moment to like, I don't know, get over that and then be like, oh yes, this is what I need to do. So but yeah, today's gonna be Kenshi, and as well as until then, later today. We're gonna be going a bit longer today because I started later, and I kind of want to go for like a longer session today. And we also will have a couple of fun topics to talk about. I have the short list here. Just give it a moment. Sorry, it's still opening. One, I've been doing some research into YouTube Shorts. It's probably the worst platform I've ever seen compared to compared to TikTok. Like TikTok is a lot better. I've also been doing a lot of looking into betting. This is gonna be a weird thing. I want to emphasize here. Walk away if you have any issues with gambling right now, because I'm talking about the various ways that people fall for their biases as a gambler in believing that there's more than luck in this system. And also the ways that you can actually minimize risk, which is actually fascinating, but also makes sense mathematically. But also how, like, just to show how rigged it is, I was like, damn, why would anybody ever play this? Like, it seems stupid to me. But in general, the idea of like gambling and stuff, it's a very weird thing. I've also been looking into like the current algo trends to see like what's like popping off on like algorithms, and I there's a lot of algo slop that I'm not gonna like show you because it's mostly copyright stuff, and I don't have to deal with that now that we're uploading VODs, pre-stream VODs actually. We're uploading pre-stream VODs now, so the the fourth channel, it's there somewhere. I just haven't really like completed it because I had to do like an ID verification. You would think at some point, right? You like make one channel, you've already verified it. Why does the second one have to be? And then, and then it's like, okay, fine. Maybe it's because I'm too new. Then you make a third channel and you have to verify it again. And it's like, okay, like it's at some point, like you have to know it's me, right? Then you make a fourth channel and they still ask you. It's like, all right, listen, buddy, like we've been through this dance and song, this like song and dance like 4 times now. We don't need to do this again. But that's what's going to be happening today. There also won't be much of a subscriber talk, other than progress is going well on these main channel videos. But I've been just kind of like doing my own thing. Listen, chat, doing shorts is like very, very mind-numbing. When you do shorts, like this is a part of the algo slop thing, but when you do shorts and stuff like that, or when you do stuff that's like specifically tailored for the algorithm to like try and pull people in, it's one of the worst things ever because of how mind-numbing it is and how boring it is. Like you're primarily doing it to satisfy some system that doesn't even care about you, and you're doing it just to do views because it's like the after artifact of like the thing that you wanted to like do. Now some people really do enjoy this. I've actually seen a lot of people on TikTok stuff who actually enjoy doing the thing that they do. I don't know if the NPC lady enjoys doing the NPC thing, but I definitely see some people who really enjoy talking about and like dissecting current news and like stuff, which is fascinating to me because like that feels like a very deadly topic to get into. especially when you consider like I guess the current happenings and like stuff. But to me, it feels very mind numbing. So it's interesting to sort of see different people's strategies and like how it all ladders up into like algo slop. Oil me up, please. I'm glad that the bot is like is working well too. I had some back end stuff done, so my VPS is actually fully ready for us to like launch the server too. I have a build process for it as well in place that you can't see. So specifically, it was a build process to get like a static site up and running, but also like a which is like the one that we had before for my website that like broke, and then I have one for the server as well. And there's gonna be like a different one for each server, but I have a template now that we can reuse across the entire build process. So it's straightforward, which is nice because it means that we can just get it up and running easily on the target server. I got Docker up running on the target server, which is very, very good. I highly recommend, again, if you just use any container technology, whether it's like Docker or Podman. I actually recommend now. Oh, good voice crack. I recommend now Podman because Podman is a lot simpler. There's a lot less like shit floating around, and there's no daemon to have to deal with. It's just like which is like a background service that like runs. So when can you re-register? Whenever we're done programming it live on stream. Because what I need to do is I need to hook it up to I need to make an API for both the Twitch bot and the Discord bot to use. So you can't do it yet. You can't do it yet. But also I have no clue what to do if it's like just a random API that like takes in just a random string. So I need to set up like an authentication model, which I haven't yet. So I've just been lazy to, but it's fairly straightforward. It's just a matter of like, can I do it for? Oh my god, you got the newest one. You got the registered Gunner. That's good. But yeah, I just need to set up the OAuth token for whatchamacallit. Only now? No, well, it'll work. It'll work, but like that's just fake. Like it doesn't save it anywhere. So you can do it, but your results don't save anywhere. So I just need to figure out the authentication model because I need to build like an OAuth. Whatchamacallit? I can't remember what it's called now. There's a specific term for it. It's like the OAuth like host or something on my server. Then I need to give it a token, and then it should just work. But we'll see. But doing that, then it should be secured. Same for the Discord bot. I have to do it for the Discord bot too. So, but yeah, it'll be good. Once that's ready, we'll have some more fun stuff. The 07 emote is finally here, so I'm surprised I went through faster. How come this one went by so fast? Actually, I'm so surprised that this went by like so quickly. Compared to like the other emotes, everything else was like way slower. Compared to just Missy doing an 07. So I guess with like a dog, it's a lot easier. But then it's like, do I own the copyright of my dog? I don't know. Like, even though I own my dog, does she have her own copyright rights? Wait, do pets have copyright rights? 07. It was a good try. It was a good try. Let's see. Do dogs have copyright rights? Can a dog copyright art? No. Do I have to get permission? No. Do I need permission to use my dog's likeness? Can I copyright my dog's image? That's weird that we own dogs. Like, they just look weird, little, because they're fluffy and they're weird and like they're like alive, right? So like here, this is her. She's alive. Like, she actually like does stuff, and she like thinks. Like I know that she thinks because she looks at me and she kind of thinks. And I'm like, but it's not a lot of thought. But when she does think, there's quite a bit of thought there. But I own her. She's mine. Look at that. Look at that stupid dog. She thinks, chat. She feels and she thinks. And what's weird is that I own her. I own a living, thinking being in the shape of a dog. Look at her. Oh, you thought I was talking about stick wife. No, I don't talk about my wife like that. I actually respect my like wife. But yeah, our dog is like strange. She has like, you can tell that she has moments where she thinks about things, and then other times where she's just like on autopilot. Especially when it comes to like food or like playing, she's on like autopilot. But when she's just looking around the like world, you can tell she's just like thinking about things. She's just like introspecting. She's such a strange dog. And I love her. Yeah, give me a second. I need to get some water, and I'll talk about more about what we're doing today, as well as the topics. Also, shout out to all my boss boys up in Calgary. You guys don't have water, so for those who don't know, I think it was Calgary or something. Their water pipe or something got bursted, but it was their main pipe. Their main pipe like filtered throughout the entirety of Calgary, and it's gonna take like a month to like fix. So nobody has like water, which is crazy to me because I'm like, oh my god, like imagine having no water for like a month. Like that should feel illegal on some level. But that is actually it's interesting to sort of see like the response to it. So they're actually doing a decent job of going fast. I think it's just a matter of like it's just unfortunate that like when a main pipe breaks, right? It's not easy to solve because of the amount of pressure going through it apparently, and like the amount of time that it takes to like eventually flush out all the water lines. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, shouts out on my boys. I'm gonna enjoy my clean the water. My dog sounds smarter than you. She is smarter than you. She's much smarter. She also is actually very very like angsty. She's like very very. She tries to be the like top dog and she tries to bully me. And like, come over here. You can't bully me. I'm your father. But she keeps trying to bully me. I'm like, I'm your father. Yeah, but she does like to lick my face. So if she licks my face, I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. You can be the top dog today. It's whatever. I want to show you something today. Not like a funny thing, but like a stuff that I've been exploring and seeing. Remember last time, or well, on like Discord, somebody posted that like my shorts have so much like shit on them, but like they can't view it because of the UI. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the best that it gets. On desktop, this is the best that it gets. On mobile, this is a problem with the mobile app. These buttons are on this side, okay, and I don't know why. If I go on TikTok right now, like right now, I have TikTok installed right now on my phone. I've been trying to make a new account, but I need to do it off of my data. Okay, well stop talking. It's the same thing, kind of, except their buttons are way smaller. Like their buttons for their like UI stuff is like way smaller. The YouTube UI buttons are like up to like here. This whole section is like gone, and this whole bottom half is like gone. The TikTok one, it's literally down here and then this much in. So like all of this gets to stay. But like you get all of this space on like TikTok over here. I don't know why it's like this. I actually don't understand why. Like sure, it makes sense from I guess from like a usability perspective, you can easily like something. But like I never understand why they put the UI on the video. It always bothers me because I feel like Instagram's model is like the best model. So if I go to Instagram and I go to Baby Gronk again, and I go back to Baby Gronk, I think Instagram, I think Baby Gronk has the best model. Here we go. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, well, I need this and I need this. One clip, one image. Baby Gronk. All you get on the like TikTok on the Instagram side is these two buttons on like desktop, and these two buttons don't even exist. It's only this button on the Instagram side. This header goes up here on mobile. All these buttons and all these comments go to the bottom, off the video. So you get this entire piece of real estate. So I'm actually gonna like repost the shorts onto Instagram as well. The images are the same thing as well. Like you only really have like this much stuff, and you have all the buttons on the bottom. That to me is the superior model compared to whatever this is. Like this is on mobile again, on mobile for YouTube. This it's all gone. For TikTok, it's like this, and I don't know why they insist on having on video UI because it doesn't make any sense. Like sure, you want to have infinite scrolling, right? But you can have infinite scrolling by just having this like bottom section over here. Old man explains social media. Can I turn on captions? Yeah, I can actually. You prefer sub to dub? You're trying to make me sound like Zenchera? That would be funny if somebody did like a Zenchera thing like from my captions on my stream. That would be funny. But yeah, this is like I'm explaining social media, but I'm also explaining like the way that the design has evolved and like devolved in like various ways. Because a lot of this in video stuff, right? It's designed to save space on the resulting page in order to take responsibility away from the page and allow you to basically contain all the controls within the video itself, right? It's a way of like shifting the responsibility of like what's there versus what's like not, as well as to maximize screen space to content. The problem, and this is something that I always like think about, right? Because it's really related to like this article here. Sorry, just give me a second till I find it. Because I have a feeling this probably went through this like problem and nobody bothered to like fix it because it's just a matter of like doing it. Sorry, I posted somewhere in my Discord. There we go. This problem of running an A/B test. Actually, maybe this is a better example. And an A/B test is like a test where you give version A and version B to two different people. So my YouTube UI right now is on some version B. Some fucker at YouTube changed my YouTube UI to some version B. And I fucking hate them. Because I liked version A. The problem is that I think this UI, when it was popularized by like TikTok, was probably a result of this. This graph is very hard to read, but this graph tries to see whether or not a coin flip that is flipped the exact same way every time, such that there is no other crazy force on it, such that it is completely random, 50-50. This is a metaphorical coin flip. Is truly fair or not. And there's always going to be some deviation at some level, where if you measure within this time period, you get more heads versus tails. But if you measure within this time period, you get more tails versus heads. And like vice versa. If you measure and you stop at any certain point, you're going to get some value that's like not a true 50-50. Because that's how statistics works. It's because it's truly random, it's also not like a true 50-50. Yeah. You get more head, yeah. A lot more head. I have a feeling that whoever made this UI and said, oh yeah, people are really responding well to the fact that they have more content on the screen with this stuff. I have a feeling they just didn't realize that like this doesn't actually work. I have a feeling that they didn't actually do the test correctly because this to me was always worse to me. And I always hated it compared to the Instagram model. Because I just want to see like everything about the video, right? Because some videos you kind of want to see everything about it. Not all of them, to be fair. A lot of them are just about the subject matter, which is usually in the center here, right? Usually in the center. But for a lot of them, it's like you kind of want to see more of the space to see everything. And it's always fascinating to sort of see people do this because it ignores like a certain type of content and also ignores a certain type of reality that not everyone like even watches on the same types of platforms where the thumb on the bottom problem even happens. Because this is meant to solve also this like problem where your hand is on the bottom of your phone supporting it and your thumb is also there. So theoretically, this whole section is unusable. But I don't know a single person who holds their phone such that their thumb is always blocking the bottom. Nor do I know a single person who's always holding the phone such that the bottom right is like always hidden. I don't know anybody who like does that. Even on the larger phones where you have to use two hands, I mean most people just like put it on like stands now, right? Like all that space is being used. However, it is more usable from like a usability perspective. But they could just put the buttons on the bottom right. IMO, this is a very weak design that YouTube Shorts specifically could have like evolved on to get like a bit of a slight edge over TikTok. And I say this because I don't know what's the point of optimizing for YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts feel like the more hidden option on like YouTube, especially when you go to the homepage. Well, I can't see it here because I don't have a homepage. Maybe I can go to like an incognito. Is it bad to go to incognito on the thing? I don't know. Let's go Shorts. Recommendations are off. Okay, well, I'm going to go incognito. Okay, well, I'm going to go youtube.com. Okay, well, that was fast. That was really fast for... wow, that's a lot of... Well, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. It still doesn't work. Hey, wait a minute. It still doesn't work. Hey, wait a minute. How do they know? How do they know? I'm an incognito. Oh my god. Shut the fuck up. But this feels like the most impossible thing to scroll through in the entire world. It also feels awful to like do because like there's something weird about the UI and feeling worse than whatever TikTok has. Sorry, because on TikTok, go to TikTok.com, all incognito. You get like this. You get like way more like glimpses of stuff that you want to see. Right? It's way easier to like go this idea of like getting your like thumbnail out there. Why is there so many people dancing? I don't give a fuck about people dancing. Oh, because there's singing and dancing. There's categories? Hey, you guys want to check out outfit cars? Check out cars. What the hell is this? See, like this is way more interesting to me because then I can like pick and choose. I can scroll, pick and choose. This TikTok is kind of eating other platforms' lunch, and it makes sense when you think about like the way that they work and the way that they get through things. There's a surprising amount of skill that is lacking at YouTube when it comes to building out these products. They have the technical skill to make it buttery smooth at a sheer technical quality level. So like high bit rates, high visual fidelity, high everything, right? But they really suck at just making it, I don't know, usable and like easy to use as as like an end user. Just odd to me because you would think a product that's designed around getting people to use your like platform would be good at it. But I mean, Instagram can even make Baby Gronk seem like a reasonable person. So how come YouTube can't? It's just a fascinating sort of look into this like bit of research that I've been doing. As much as I like to joke that this is like the social media thing, old man learns social media. There's also a lot of like small minute details that they keep doing and they keep changing. That always pisses me off. And YouTube used to be a lot better about it too. YouTube used to have that side angle where the buttons were off to the side, and on the mobile app, it used to be like pretty small too. They only recently enlarged it for usability without realizing that you will now sacrifice more real estate. It's frustrating to like see. It's also weird too because like again, depending on the form factor, you get hit by it more or like less. On an iPad, it's basically non-existent, which is like surprisingly where a lot of people watch their like stuff. Like I have a friend, or mod actually. She just turns on the iPad and she just watches like just on her iPad on like AFK mode. Compared to your mobile phone, where it's like you have a very small amount of space, the more of it that's like taken up by useless UI, the less useful it is. I've also been looking into like the algo slop stuff, so just in general, like what's like popular. Chat, I don't know if it's me being like away from the times, but like, or if it's like just a problem that's always been there. People really like to milk certain things. Like there's a huge amount of milking going on, and I don't know why. It feels very boring to milk this stuff. Like the Hawk 2 girl, or like the Hawk girl, right? She's being milked to hell and back. Not just by her though. Like if she was milking it, I would understand. But it's like a bunch of people who are making like reaction videos or like talking about it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is so fucking boring. And I always wonder like why people do this. You know what I mean? Like why do people subject themselves to doing the things that they don't want to do? Because you already subject yourself to that when you go to work, right? You already subject yourself to that as a natural state of the world. Then you go onto social media, the one platform where you can do anything that you want to do, and you subject yourself even more to the things that you don't want to do. For some reason, people love to subject themselves to doing things that are absolutely useless for them, and I don't know why. To me, that doesn't really make sense. I always wonder, like, why people do it, because it honestly, these people don't look happy. Like and the way that you chase numbers, it can be very easy to fall into that like pit of chasing numbers. I've seen it happen to my friends. And I can theoretically see how it would happen for me if I cared more, right? Because once you start to optimize for numbers, you stop doing what you want to do on like a daily basis, and you start doing what the algorithm wants you to like do, which is a very different state of mind, right? Because what you want to do will probably change on a day-to-day basis. And honestly, for something like Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, etc., that's probably like the best way to like handle it. Because again, you're not going to get rich off of it, right? The likelihood of you getting rich off of it is infinitesimally small compared to like, the reality that you're probably just going to be like a very, very small dot in a sea of stars, if that makes sense. Just flashing out, burning out, and dying off. And no one will even notice that you're gone because it's like the star fades, but it's in a sea of stars, right? It's very hard to see. And I always find it funny whenever like, hey, because this is another thing that I found too. There's a lot of shields for this shit. Let's go here. This one, I was trying to figure out this like issue with my TikTok account of like, okay, why why can't I make a TikTok account? I finally realized it's because I have like a very aggressive ad blocker middleware on my router, which basically handles filtering out a bunch of like the algo stuff. And there's a subreddit where people talk about this stuff and they always say like, oh, what is like the thing that's gonna here happen to this Reddit, TikTok. Here we go. Here we go. They always theorize on like what the algorithm does. And they always give advice on what the algorithm does, and they always preface it by whoever they are with how many like stuff, how many views they are, and like why they do things, right? And they believe that they're doing all this mind blowing research, but it's the same thing that happens for every algorithm. It's how long can this video hook somebody to watch it for a long period of like time. And then the more that happens, the more it pushes it out to like a new segment until it finally stops. That's all it really does. But it's more finely tuned to that because it also uses. This is the reason why TikTok wants you to use it on their mobile app. Is because on the mobile app you can actually track where someone views, where someone scrolls to. It's a very basic handler on like every single like mobile operating system. You just hook into the scroll handler. You then view whichever video is like active, and you see if somebody goes like back to it, and you just keep like you basically keep the like hash somewhere, and you just say, okay, did this person view it again? Then they like this like stuff, right? But they say all this stuff to sound very very smart, and it's like, 99% of it is like luck, and then just choosing and then just doing something that actually feels like fun, right? But the thing is that like this is the thing that I always find funny is that the people in the comments, they truly believe that this is the silver bullet, but they don't realize that like you're always gonna fall into some niche. And those people in that niche are either going to be fully saturated or like not, and they're just going to enjoy the content that they like if they enjoy it. And you can't really predict what people are going to enjoy, because the Hawk 2 girl, right? Like nobody could have predicted her coming out of nowhere. She, for all intents and purposes, right? She spawned. She actually spawned out of nowhere, and nobody has any clue why. You can't predict this stuff. And I always find it so sad whenever I see people like try to bet a lot on these social media platforms or these streaming platforms or like stuff without ever realizing that it's 99% luck, right? Because there is a large cohort out there that probably would want to watch your stuff, but it's random whether or not this like faceless algorithm is going to push your content to like them. And so you might as well treat it as a fully luck-based draw, and you just focus on making stuff that's like fun to like watch on some level, or like entertaining on some level, or like just something about it like gets people into it on some level for like a long period of the time. It's why I don't care about views. Like I always look at my stuff and I'm like, I'm surprised that it even gets views when you consider it's just VODs. It's just video game VODs. Like I don't give a shit, right? But to be fair, I'm also fortunate in that like I have a job. Well, I could have a job if I just went for it. But also, it's like you should have a job even if you're doing this, because I feel like you really don't want to do this. Like you don't want to raw dog. You don't want to raw dog social media. If you raw dog social media, my God, you are one brave son of a gun. Because I don't know if you're gonna survive it, dude. It seems kind of hard to just raw dog social media, man. To me, it's like you have a lot of risk when you just raw dog social media, because now you're dependent on it to actually make money, and you're dependent on sheer luck. It's very different from getting a job, right? It's that whole diagram that I drew before. It's even different from making your own business. It's way more different than making your own business. Because even making your own business, depending on your product, you actually might have more success. It's actually very, very interesting to see how difficult it is to sort of rise from the pack on social media. Like if I open a bakery, right? And they make like, Hong Kong style buns. I can reasonably get a decent client base that enjoys the buns every day, as long as I target the people around me who go to work, who want like a cheap lunch, and I can get them certain combo deals to try to leverage like volume versus raw like profit margin, right? Or I can do like there's more tangible things in your area that can happen with that, and it's easier to do. Then you can sort of like push for like a larger audience outside of that by just having your buns spread by either word of mouth or by any other means of marketing, whether it's like a grassroots on social media or much more traditional and like banner ads. But though I don't know anybody who like cares about the banner ads anymore. But like even something for as competitive and as low profit margin and as tiring as a bakery, you would have more success running your own bakery than you would trying to make your social media account make money. And it's fascinating to me to sort of see people do certain things. Again, though, there is a subset of people who enjoys chasing the money, which is like, it's fine, but it's like, well, It's more than fine. It's actually what you should be doing, right? But to do it for social media feels so boring because it's like, oh my god, chat. Like, I don't. I think I would go crazy if I was making Minecraft content. Like, even if I was really into Minecraft, I don't think I would want to make Minecraft content for fucking years. I would go insane on some level. Even if it's good for the numbers, I would be like, yeah, it's not really worth it. Um, and it's fascinating to sort of see like how many people sort of like do things that they don't like for a certain amount of like pay, especially for the uncertainty of it too. Like this is the craziest part too, is that they could have just done that at like a normal job and gotten like a fair amount, pretty much the same, amortized over a number of years, right? Because it usually the way the social media payouts work is like you have this like initial burst, this like bang, and then you just like taper off. Because the truth is, retention is probably your hardest issue, because once you keep it going for a while, right? People aren't going to watch you forever, and the truth is, you're going to change over time. So at some point, you're going to like eventually like filter out your own viewers. Then you need to either find more viewers or figure out how to retain them. But to retain them, it usually means to do the same thing over and over and over again, which is boring. It's very, very boring. My accent is so weird today. I'm so sorry. Ah. But yeah, just algo slop stuff. I always look at it and I'm like, I have no clue why people always try to make it like a system of some kind. Like there is no system. Sure, make quality content, but like that's more of a side effect, right? It's like the side effect of making quality content is that it's good enough for people to like enjoy and like watch. And if you laugh at it or like you enjoy it on some level, somebody's gonna enjoy it somewhere out there. But it's just down to the algorithm. If the algorithm likes you, then the algorithm likes you, right? And then you have other things like you have actual levers that you can actually pull that like get you more. Like if you're like a streamer, right, and you're like a VTuber, you just go straight into a V. If you go into VShojo and you debut, right, all of a sudden you have like 1,000,000 buckaroos. It's very simple, because just that level of like brand name recognition gets you all these like followers, right, and also like consistent viewers too. Versus like trying to vet on I don't know social media. It feels absurd to me. But maybe I'm just an old man. Maybe I'm just an old man who like sees the world as like a series of luck based dice rolls, and it doesn't really make sense to me to like bet on these luck based dice rolls, compared to betting on some more again like honestly, me thinking of making like I'm making one now. Me making my own game, and eventually getting to the point where I can sell it is a hell of a lot more assured than whatever the heck social media currently is. And that's also very luck based too. Whoever sees your game and whoever like buys it, right? So another luck based thing I've been looking into was betting. So this is a weird topic, but I'll get into this. A buddy of mine really believes in this system. I think he's falling for the problem. He's falling for the thing that makes gambling and betting so dangerous. When you think about how much money you get, can I get wide, please? The content is as wide as possible for your browser. Actually, make it standard. I like standard. Large text, thank you. This is the martingale system, which is a system for ensuring that you don't have any losses once you go through enough like bets, right? So, okay, let's say you have like $10, and every bet is like $2. Sorry, and every bet is like $1. Let's just keep it at like that. You have $10, every bet is $1 for you to like gamble. It's a 50-50 like coin flip, let's say. If you win, then you get $1 back, right? If you lose, however, you bet again, but this time you double your bet. This way, you cover your loss and you gain a profit off of it. And you just keep doing that until you run out of money. And my buddy really believes in the system, but it's funny to see people believe in the system a lot, because it takes a rudimentary amount of statistics and like a rudimentary amount of understanding of like what gambling is to realize that the system only works in a true, non-discrete, random, pseudo-random system, if that makes sense. Like you would need PRNG, pseudo RNG systems that change the results of the next roll based on the previous roll, which is what you see in a lot of games in order to make consistent failures feel a lot less painful. It's actually the thing that, you know, when you play XCOM, right? When you play XCOM 1 and 2, when you turn on that like setting that's like, oh, more fair or less fair like luck chances, or like a true like a true percentage mode or like something, it changes it from that pseudo RNG mode where you get a lot more leeway towards like you to an actual random system where every dice roll is a discrete dice roll where it's not affected by any factors around it. Because every time you flip the coin, right? The coin doesn't care that you landed head last time, nor does it care that you landed tails. It'll just flip heads or tails based on pure chance. The martingale strategy relies on you believing that the chance of your last roll applies to your current roll. And this only really works for certain types of games, right? The only game that I can think of is a gambling game where every time somebody lands on something, that tile is then taken out. So let's say you have a game where it's like you have 4 tiles, right? 2 tiles are wins, 2 tiles are like losses, right? And when the ball like spins and lands on one of the tiles, that tile gets removed from the game. Then I could see the martingale system actually coming into play because the results of your previous roll actually affect the results of your future roll. No, there is no actual mainstream gambling game that's like that though. Every single one has odds favored towards the house, aka towards the building that actually runs it. Even the basic, like, you know that one where you put like there's like black squares and there's like red squares on the thing and you have like a number on it and you put it down. Even that game, people always make the mistake of believing that you have like a 1 in 36 chance. But the truth is, if you land on 0, everyone loses, which is an extra tile like right by the like dealer. So it's actually even worse than 1 in like 36. That 1-0 makes it significantly worse. And so your overall value that you can expect to win over time is worse even if House Edge wasn't even in like play. Like if the odds weren't favored towards the like house to like win, even in that case, that game would be a loss for you over a longer period of the time. It's just pure statistics. And the only time that we've ever seen people actually like beat these systems is when they do actually like cheating, which is effectively where you either do edge sorting, where you look at the edges of the cards, you like take note of the shape and the fray and stuff like that, and you see where it lays up in the deck. If you're caught doing this, by the way, you will be charged like $1 million. Like the fines are insane. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that these techniques exist, or like card counting, which is a very basic mathematical formula for when you play games that have that like use like a standard deck of cards. Or even like physics. Like I remember reading an article once of a scientist who looked at the way that the person spinning the thing like spun the spinning ball holder thing, and then would bet right after because they could predict within a reasonable amount what region it would land in. Which is why nowadays that spinning thing is done automatically because it's done in a way to like minimize the amount of readability on it. Effectively, it's the same. Actually, fun fact. Same reason why in I think Rust has like a spinning wheel thing, like a lottery wheel thing, or like a jackpot wheel. Somebody worked out the mathematical formula of how it works, and there was actually a region where it like won more because it was actually a truly physically simulated like roulette wheel. So, but aside from that, these systems don't actually do anything for you, and I always find it funny whenever like people like talk about these, right? Because like this system in particular is stupid because after like 4 losses, 4 or 5. You instantly lose all of your money. And the proponents of this always say that your chances of winning or losing 4 or 5 times in a row is very, very small statistically. It's like 2%, right? But it's also not really accurate because just because you lost before doesn't mean that you're going to win the next time. Every single roll is discrete. Consecutively, it is going to be like a very low chance to have a consecutive chance because it's truly random. But when you think of it as a discrete roll, and then you realize that the math is like kind of like off and like wrong in like various ways, you realize like, oh wait, your chance of losing is actually, while it's not 50-50, it's going to be a hell of a lot higher than whatever the math is on like here. And this page actually proves it to like be like not actually correct either. So it's fascinating. There's also a bunch of videos from statisticians that also like talk about this, and they say like, oh yeah, this actually doesn't work because the math doesn't really check out because it's actually like this implies again like a PRNG reality, which doesn't really make sense. So it's fascinating to sort of see people take this approach to gambling, and I always try to like persuade people off of it because it's like when you get into thinking that it's a skill-based paradigm or that it's a skill-based game, you end up thinking that you can win more than you actually can. But the truth is you probably can't. Oh man, I love gambling. But yeah, it's just fun to sort of look at all this. But that's all I really had for today's pre-stream stuff. So I just wanted to show you all some more stuff that I looked into. I've been very, very distracted lately, so stuff will come out slowly, but it doesn't really matter. This is mostly a hobby for me. Treat this stuff as a hobby for you too. If you're like a streamer, you make content or something, just treat it as a hobby for you. If you treat it as like a job, you're gonna go insane. Because you're not making job levels of like money from it. Once you do, then you can care more about like going for algo slop stuff, right? Because you kind of have to. Otherwise, you don't make any money. But it's like before you're there, you might as well focus on like actually doing your stuff as like a hobby because you're not going to make nearly as much money as you would, from your day job than like this. It's really important to realize, and I think this is just the falsity of like the way the human mind works is because we try to rationalize and reason about so much of this stuff. We try to make sense of these things, not realizing that this is all just malarkey. A lot of this stuff is just randomness, right? It's a guided level of randomness, especially when you think about like algorithms and like systems. But honestly, engineers who work in these systems, they don't even know how the algorithm works specifically. They know how it works in a general sense, but they're feeding it so much data and it's forming so many strange connections that we can't even comprehend, let alone see. We like there's no way for us to like categorize them. That ends up being nothing but nonsense. So basically, all I'm trying to say is live your life and enjoy stuff. Not only have I been getting into topics though, it's also been listening to songs. Not this song, sorry. Listening to a lot of Tame Impala because my playlist has been finally going backwards. I really, really enjoyed their earlier albums, but I also really enjoyed their latest stuff too. And I say they, but like again, it's crazy to me that Tame Impala is like a single person. That to me is a wild, wild thing to know because their music sounds like it's made by like a whole band that's like really in tune and really in sync. Like to me, it sounds like an entire group of people who have the same creative vision who are working towards like some musical piece. But no, it's just one dude in his bedroom probably doing all this stuff in his own studio, and it's a banger. And I've been listening to a lot of this song called New Person, Same Old Mistakes. I know it sounds very emo, but it's I've been listening to it because it's been very interesting to me. I enjoy the lyrics a lot. It's not just the lyrics, but also the vibe of the song. It feels very weird and like mysterious. But the lyrics in particular, the way that he talks about like being a new person, still making the same old mistakes. It feels very relatable in like many different ways in the sense of like no matter how much you try, if you don't change who you are inside and you change just the visage of you, you're really just the same sack of meat. With that comes everything. So please enjoy this song. It's gonna be loud, by the way. Man, I love that song. Apparently, the K-pop stands. Oh, sorry, I was reading the comments on the video. Apparently, the K-pop stands found this because Rose sampled this. Honestly, it's crazy. Again, Rose has really good taste in like music. A lot of their taste in music is very very good. And it's funny though to always find like their taste in music. Like a lot of the songs that Rose works with from they're gonna hate me. The K-pop stands are gonna hate me if I get this wrong. Who is she from? I don't know. Who is she from? I don't know. Where's she from again? I always forget the name of it. What the fuck is she from? From Blackpink. It's fascinating to me that always her list of songs always includes a song that I really like, but also because like these songs are very popular, so it makes sense, right? But yeah, that was a Tame Impala, New Person, Same Old Mistakes. Really, really enjoy the way that whole song progresses. I really, really enjoy, especially like the old school style of mixing music as well. Newer music today, folk puts a lot of emphasis on the vocals, but you see a point in this song where like his voice and the words that he says goes into more of a rhythmic trance, and that's when it cuts the voice down and it brings the instruments up to like make them the same level. It's a very fascinating way of mixing. It's a very very particular way of mixing that you don't really see very often, where they see the voice as like a human instrument of sorts, as like a vocal instrument. You usually only see that actually, strangely enough, in choir music. In a lot of choir music, a lot of the words that they say are nonsense. So what ends up happening is that the voices are mixed into the rest of the mix, or like orchestral pieces that like include like a choir. A lot of the times the lyrics are like it's like a nonsense Latin phrase, and so they just mix it into like the rest of the instruments. It's an old school style that I really really enjoy because, especially on this song, because again, when he's saying the lyrics and he wants the words to like cut through to you, his voice is center stage. Then, as it starts to go into this rhythmic trance of like saying the same phrase over and like over, and when it's time for the instruments to do their sort of improvisation work, and then when it switches over to that like to the middle half into that new mood and out of it, the instruments get louder and louder until the voice becomes like a backing track. It's a really really cool way of doing it. It's a really good song. The entire album, Currents, is a great album. It's one of my more favorite albums from them. But everything Tame Impala touches is gold. So I mean, everything Tame Impala touches is like gold. It's fascinating to be how prolific they are, considering that it's. I mean, again, it's one dude. It's one dude. It's just a dude. That's the craziest part. It's just a dude. And he just does everything on his own, and he just makes like a whole bunch of like crazy stuff, and it all sounds amazing. Every single one sounds so goddamn cool. I've always wanted to get into the minds of these people to see how they operate and how they function and how they make these songs, but maybe for like some of the day. But yeah, we're gonna move on to a game because that's not we're not just here to talk, chat. This is, though it may be a live stream and talking may be a very important part of it, I suppose. We're actually gonna be making a fight club today, a very important fight club. We're gonna be playing some Kenshi. I'll explain more as we get into the game. Just give me a moment. This is also why we don't have the camera today, because I realize now the reason why the game crashes is because of YouTube Studio, and I'll get into why as well. But not this song, not the Mass Effect song. It's a song that I picked out beforehand for this occasion. It's also not that song that you see on the screen. This song is from an album that I really enjoy. It's an album that I showed all of you last time as well. Again, the music will be kind of loud. This song is a song by an artist that I played here before called Sampha on his Process album. Again, I really really enjoy his work, his art. The narrative that he draws with his music is fantastic, and I really really enjoy the way that his voice sounds like as well. I just enjoy everything about the way that his music is. And this song in particular, I thought was so fitting for what happened in this game, and I had a feeling it would come in handy at some point, because this really really symbolizes what we just went through as like a good ending song. So BRB, as I eat really quick. In the meantime, please enjoy "Blood on Me" by Sampha. I find that song to be such a hilarious fit for what just happened, and it's such a good like on the surface level fit, right? If you take the lyrics very literally, that's exactly what happens to us inside the game. However, again, I've talked about his like songs before. They're heavy with symbolism, very very heavy. If you ignore the fact that we just played Kenshi, that song is a very very gripping song about like this feeling of like somebody's always after you and like somebody's always chasing you and this idea of like people always sort of like hounding you for something, right? Whether no matter what that is. And this idea of like you almost being like prey in like a very, very whatever situation you may be in, but I imagine maybe his was about the music industry in particular. Or maybe it wasn't. Who really knows? But to me, it sort of symbolizes this idea of like a lot of the things that we do, that like there's a lot that like goes into how we operate in like a social world. And a lot of it comes down to like this like quote unquote idea of like office politics, right? I mean, even on a baseline level, if you've never had like a crazy experience, even just the idea of like knowing like say like office politics, like if you had to deal with it, you can even draw some level of satisfaction from the song because that's almost kind of what it feels like to be in a pool full of like people trying to be sharks almost. But yeah, that was a hilarious moment inside of that game. I'm genuinely I didn't know that the game had whatchamacallit, a property system. Like what do you mean they own the property? I don't know what was happening. Okay, but I'm glad that we all survived. Sorry, I'm so gassy. I'm glad that we all made it. Because boy oh boy, we're gonna have a lot of things to clean up next time. I also found I think I have a new idea for the fight club, so we had to move it anyways because we're on stolen land, and I don't want to deal with stolen land. There's an easier way to have a fight club, I think, but we're gonna have to like restock our pile of like bodies and stuff. So, but I have a better solution for it long term. I think. Again, sorry, I'm a bit breathy at the moment. I had to eat really quickly. Now, usually I play newer songs on this channel because I tend to find these newer songs. I mean, it's just a reality that like the algorithms on these platforms will push these newer songs, right? You're gonna find these newer songs, and they're gonna find you, and they're gonna try to like push these to you because that's the people who need the money today, right? Like the established artists are already like done. The systems that are in place, at least at Spotify, they seem to be really good at finding you somebody new if you really like to listen to like very underground or like greenfield stuff, which is very interesting to me. IMO. It's a great model for their suggestion system, and you always end up with something very interesting. And Sanford was one of those people years back. How I found them was from that system. But that doesn't mean that I don't like old music. Sometimes I like to go back to old music too. And we actually need to go back to one old song because we're actually moving on to a different game now, Chad. We're moving on to Until Then. Now, as you know, I really love that visual novel, but boy, oh boy, does it. There's a lot of really difficult topics in that game. Like very difficult. It's why I need time to get into it, right? Like I need a lot of time before I can do it again and again and again. Because again, it's the emotional toil that I go through when I play that game is so intense that like I need multiple days to sit down and have thoughts about it and like think about it. And it puts me in this like mood, right? It doesn't make me depressed or anything, but it brings out these feelings from the way that it tells the stories. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing about the game that I think is very important about it. It's so good at striking a chord with you as a player because the writing is so relatable, so down to earth. I really enjoy what they've done with the game. And this song, I think, is a very good fit for where we are at the moment because the characters that we're seeing and all the things that are happening with them, I think this is a very good transition into the song to remind us sort of what's going on inside the game. Oh, you forgot about it. Yeah, sorry, chat. As you can probably tell, I mean, if you're new to this channel, you probably don't know this, but or even if you're like newer, if you've only been here for like a couple months, it takes a long time for me to finish games, but it's because like I need time to process things, or like I need time to get like I need time for the mechanics to feel fresh again for me to want to go through it. It's why Cryptmaster even is currently on the backlog. Like it's gonna come back tomorrow for like Cryptmaster, but just for now, I need some time, right? So, but please do enjoy the song because I think the song is a very good representation of what I think is going on inside the game right now. This is sorry, just give me a second. I need to load it up. Okay, sorry, the volume. So well, you can't hear it yet, but because I need to tweak the volume. This is a very old song, and this song is a it's very near and dear to my heart because I remember my sister was practicing singing the song for a long time for like a performance. So like every day I would hear it. I would get annoyed back then, but looking back on it, it's like imagine getting because again she's a very good singer. Like she's crazy professional at it. So imagine getting like a free concert like every day. It's kind of nuts, and it brings me back to this sort of nostalgic time. But also like I really love the lyrics for what's going on in the game between the various characters. In particular, the relationship between Mark and Nicole at the moment. This is "Because You Loved Me" by Celine Dion. Please enjoy. That's the power of a Canadian, chat. Secretly in our bones, it's the Canadian way that every Canadian's really good at like power ballads. That again was because you loved me by Celine Dion. I'm trying to figure out how to like segue into this because going from Kenshi to Until Then is a very hard topic switch, right? Because you go from what is like we were building a fight club, kidnapping bodies, committing crimes, stealing stuff, like collecting limbs to build like a new person inside of a chest, all the way into a property dispute that ended up becoming a war. And now we're going into Until Then, the visual novel about teenagers. So I mean, it's gonna be a very hard, mood shift. But I thought that song was very compelling, and I thought that song was a great way to sort of switch into it. That song, like when I recalled that song, I was immediately reminded of Mike and Nicole's relationship inside the game, which I'll talk about a bit more as part of the game. But the gist of it is that it's fascinating how we find strength in like many different things, right? It's for many people. I mean, people find strength in various kinds of ways. Yeah, whether that's from somebody, from the love that you receive from someone, or from this, or from like a belief in like something, right? We all find strength in different ways, and it's important to realize that people find strength in these ways, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need external like validation, external support, external help to be your best self. Celine Dion's story is also very very sad. So as you all know, she's like quite old now, I believe. She's currently going through like a medical condition at the moment, where it's a degeneration basically of your whole body. I can't remember the exact term of it, but it's like your nerves get all mixed up and like all they basically start to degenerate, and so she can't even like sing anymore. She's 56, but she's no longer has that voice, and she was very heartbroken about it. There's a whole interview with her about it when she's talked about it. It was very heartbreaking to see, and it's especially as I'm getting older. Again. I'm a very mature person here. This is why the chat's 18 plus. It's a 29. Your streamer is a 29-year-old. It's a stark reminder that time will always move forward. And it's cruel and it's unending, but it is inevitable. It's the idea that you have to be ready for, I guess, anything that will come, and you have to be ready for the fact that as time moves on and as it sort of washes over you, not to take it too seriously. Just know that like it's going to be okay. No matter what happens to you, it's going to be okay, and just to let it pass over you, okay? Like you can't stop it. You might as well embrace it as it comes. But just know that, you have to be ready for it on some level, because it will be heartbreaking to know that you can't do the things that you can't do anymore. In fact, just yesterday, I woke up and I think I pulled my back muscle. It hurt for like quite a bit, and then I was like, okay, well, I remember lying down in bed, and I was like, okay, I'm going to die. I was like, this is my moment. Like I'm simply too old now. I have back muscle, and that was the impetus for me to start working out again. So like I haven't worked out in a very long time, but I realized that if I'm gonna want to keep control of my body and really take care of it, I need to really really think about impacting it in a way that's safe to like train my body to feel more physically fit. So there's a lot of things I've sort of like taken, I guess, like stock of now that I'm getting older. Both in terms of like my career and my life, and just in general, how to take care of my like health and like stuff more. Both mental and physical, both are very important, right? Mental probably more so. I don't know, but yeah, I wanted to go down like a trip down memory lane. I'm sure most of you are like older too, so boomer. That goes for most of the chat. But to the fellow boomers in here, I hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane, because that song also holds a lot of like, again, sentimental value. My sister used to practice that song a lot for her singing contests and like stuff, and just sort of like being reminded of like the slow, wave of time that is unending, is ceaseless. It's very sobering, very very sobering. Because as fun as the good times are, right? Like realize this: I don't think anybody could have expected 15 years ago that Jeremy would just retire. Like he's done and he's gone, and it's like, okay, you've no more Jeremy 985, right? At some point, Vinesauce will be gone too, I imagine. Like every old stream. And Northern Lion, the dude has a kid now. He is a kid. She comes on stream and talks like a small person. That's weird. So just know that at some point, even I will have to leave you, chat. Even I will have to leave you. But not anytime soon. Please take care of yourselves out there. We're going to move on now to a Resident Sleeper / tearjerker game. It's going to be very, very sad. So just be warned, you may feel feelings, and it's okay to feel feelings, but just be aware that like you're gonna have to like I don't know, like if you don't want to feel feelings, I don't mind you leaving. Again, for all the new followers and stuff, if you want to watch the vods, you can find the vods on my vod channel. There will be also a third another channel for the pre-stream and the mid-stream stuff like this, where you have to listen to the music and like just listen to my thoughts on them. Where it'll be there fully copyright, so I'll just get it like struck. I don't really care. Um, but yeah, you can follow the VOD channels. And just know that we're going to change topics a lot. And you can't complain about it because I don't actually care. This is really basically just a time for me. So you're only 23. Okay, that's insane to me. Wow. Okay, because you're 23, right? 9 years ago, when I was 20, you were 12. That's fucking weird. That's weird. That's very strange. Like the more that you like play around with the time scale, like now that we're all adults, right? It's like kind of fine because it's well, it is fine. It's like going to your workplace and you see like other adults as your coworkers, right? Like you might have a coworker who's like 40, and you might have a coworker who's like 20, and then it's like okay, like cool. But just knowing that, like, well, when you were 20, I was like 2. It's like that's very strange to me. I don't know. I had that same feeling with my coworker actually. They're like a 50-something-year-old, and then I was like talking to them, and then I just did the mental math, and I was like, wait, when I was born, like you were just starting out as like a 26-year-old or like something. And I was like, holy shit. Or like I don't know, whatever age they were, which is wild to me. So this is why I'm glad I started streaming now because honestly, like that's it's weird to have that perspective. You know what I mean? It's strange to have that perspective, and it I can't imagine streaming beforehand not having these perspectives and kind of like having it sort of like fly over my head as like a whoosh and having to realize that like as I stream, like longer and like longer. Like imagine if I realize that while I'm like an established streamer and I go into like a midlife crisis. Whereas like now that like because I had time in like the normal world, I feel much more well adjusted to like being able to like navigate like the weirdness of like time, which is nice. If that makes sense, I don't know. But yeah, you do talk with a lot of older people. Yeah, I mean it's just natural, right? I mean like in life, you can't avoid older people. You just go around like everybody that you meet is gonna be older or like younger in like some level. But it's like it's not like you can avoid that, right? Whether you have friends or coworkers, like you're just gonna have people who are just older than you, anyways, or like not much younger, but like younger too. Like I have friends ranging from like 24 to like I want to say like 42 now. I think one of my friends in like the States is 42 now, so it's like time just moves on. It's weird. When your good friend is 37, you feel more relatable with him than other 23-year-olds. I just want to point out here, that's because he's like a 23-year-old, not because you're like a 37-year-old. That's because he might be very, very young mentally. But also, again, this is not an age; it's just a number thing. I just really want to point out here. I'm not trying to say this. Like, you can still have a lot of whimsy and a lot of joy in your bones, despite being an older person. But you can also carry yourself with a level of dignity and respect when you need to, with a level of maturity that you need to in like more professional settings or whatever setting, right? But you can still be young at heart, if that makes sense. Within like the fun parts of life, like hanging out or like going like hanging out like doing fun things, right? So anyways, we're gonna move on to Until Then now. Again, the whole face cam stays off because the game needs it. So today is a no face cam day, unfortunately for some of you who really enjoy the stick figure. I don't know why you do, but that's the way it is. Again, this is a tear jerker / resident sleeper. If you have no clue what's going on, go to the VOD channel, check it out. All the VODs will be on there as well later tonight. The pre-stream stuff will be up soon. Again, as I mentioned, I just need to figure out what's happening to the channel, and we're gonna go right into it. Give me a moment to set things up though. Before we leave, I have a single ending song for you all to listen to that I really enjoy. I think this song is gonna be a wonderful fit for what's like going on here because it's basically how I felt when we saw Kathy die. Okay, this is a song that is near and dear to my heart once again. It's a very old song once again, but I really really enjoy the song because of the way that it makes you feel, and I really enjoy the lyrics as well that like happen in it. So please give it for Leanne Rhymes. How do I live? Enjoy, and when the song ends, the stream will end. So good night, everyone. Bye. Get out of here. Live your life. Leave me alone. Leanne Rhymes is an amazing artist. And after what we just went through today, I thought that was probably the most fitting song for what we just experienced. Good night, everyone. Keep Kathy in your hearts. She's my little butterfly, just as she is yours. That was cringe. I'm sorry, but yeah. Bye. I'm tired too.